Man, I am jacked up for today. I could not be more excited about my very special guest. I can't wait to bring him into the greatest group in the entire Facebook world, franchise opportunities for elite entrepreneurs and empire builders. You are in for a treat today. Yes, we are looking at a business opportunity, one of a kind that has been, I think, just a really well-kept secret for most until they kind of stumble upon it, until they kind of find it. And that has been the case for our guest today, Rashad Evans. Man, I could not be more excited to bring him in for a number of reasons. He's got quite the resume. Most people you might know him as the former light heavyweight champion in UFC. You might know him from his incredible knockout of the one and only Chuck Liddell. You might know him from his victory over Rampage Jackson. He's got a number of other wins on his hit list as well. And so, but what we're talking about today is business ownership. It's kind of his transition from the octagon into entrepreneurship, and kind of what that transition was like, why he made that transition, and why specifically did he get into this business, Naturals to Go. With a dude that, has the world at his fingertips, that could do just about anything he wanted to. He chose this. And so I'm excited to unpack that a little bit more with him. He's got an incredible head of hair as well. And so you are in for a real special treat today, let me tell you. Before we dive in, I'm going to let you all know, I haven't mentioned this yet on any of our live streams. I've kind of kept this secret to, well, not really secret to just myself, but to my own profiles and that kind of thing. Tomorrow, we're watching this June 20th as of today's recording. Tomorrow, I am biking 200 miles in one day. I'm biking from here where I'm located in Iowa. We're going to end up at a place called Lake Okoboji 200 miles later. I'm biking with a group of about 30 of us that are doing this ride called Break the Cycle. That's why I have this shirt on right now. Break the Cycle 200 mile, 1 day bike ride. We're going to be, we got lift off at 5 a.m. We're going to be on the saddle for about 11, 12 hours, straight road cycling. There's no e-bikes. There's no motorcycles. There's nothing. Just us and our bikes and our bodies as the machine. Why are you doing that, Jared? That sounds insane. It's a good question. Let me tell you, because it's actually for an organization called Hope for Justice, who fights human trafficking across the world. And especially here in Iowa, it's actually a much more prevalent issue than I realized when we first moved back here. In fact, because of the funds raised from this ride that went to go hire private investigators, as of January of this year, 10 girls have been rescued out of human trafficking and are currently in being kind of reintegrated into society. It's just incredible stuff. And so I'm so pumped for tomorrow. And so I'll drop this in there too. But I'm collecting donations and support for anyone who wants to be part of this fight with me. But hey, you can't go bike 200 miles with me. I get that. I can't give $10,000, So let's team together. And I'll do the writing, you guys do the giving, and we will fight human trafficking together. That's tomorrow. Super pumped about that. Next week, no live stream. I'm going to be on vacation. Once I get off the bike, I'm on vacay mode, so no live stream inside the group. But we'll be back again next week with some the week after in July with some more incredible stories. I don't know, though, if we have any more incredible stories than the one we are looking at today with my man, Rashad Evans. And so I can't wait to ask him about, what's it like to step in a ring with someone like Rampage Jackson. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to unpack what's, okay, now talk to me about the life of a vending machine owner. Let's do this together. So we're going to get started. And before I bring him out, I thought, hey, let's just start with a little bit of what is Naturals to Go? Who is Rashad Evans? And so let's dive in together.
I absolutely love Naturals to Go. My name is Rashad Evans, and I've been with Naturals to Go for a little over a year now. Before I joined Naturals to Go, I fought in the UFC. I was an MMA fighter. I fought about 15 years.
It is all over! Rashad Evans is the new UFC Light Heavyweight
feel like I have something to look forward to and to begin again. And I feel like that's what I was missing in my transition from being a fighter, was just that, what is my purpose? Starting over again, it feels amazing. What inspired me to become part of the Naturals to Go family is the desire to want to spend more time with my family. I travel a lot. I want to be able to get a little bit more time at home. It's given me much more control over my financial future. Naturals to Go helped me get into the place where I want to begin again, the place where I was starting to really enjoy life again. I also got to be part of the company and be part of the culture. One thing that I know from being part of the sports arena is the fact that you got to have a team. Being a part of the team was something that I was missing a lot, and I found a really good team with Naturals to Go.
Rashad Evans, man, welcome to the Elite Entrepreneurs and Empire Builders Facebook group, man. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me, Jared. I appreciate the platform.
Yeah, dude, I'm so pumped to hear your story and really talk about, what it was like to fight, but then also what it's like to own a business and what that whole transition was like, man. I'm super pumped to dive into this, but let's just start there. Start with a little bit of your story. I saw some of the pictures in that video. So you got kids, you got a family. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I got a family. I got 5 kids. I was married twice, and I have 2 kids with my first wife, and I have 2 kids with my wife now, and I have a daughter who lives in Montreal. So, and they range in age from 25 to all the way to 3 years old. So been
any of them fighting?
What's that?
Are any of them fighting?
My boy, who's 17 years old, he's starting to take a liking to it, but he's so smart. You know what I'm saying? So he's most likely not going to be a fighter, but he just wants to know how to be able to handle himself. I mean, his name is Rashad Evans, so he's got to be able to. So I mean, he's got to be able to hold his own a bit. So that was kind of his interest in it, but also he's got like a natural talent for it. So he's been coming down and training here in South Florida for a while. So it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty incredible, man. I had the pleasure of getting to meet you in Orlando, Florida about a month ago at a conference, and it was just a really cool experience for me because I've known who you are. I've known that name, and just incredible. And I grew up wrestling myself, and so it seems to be a transition into the fighting sport world itself. And so if you could just walk us through a little bit of that story, that journey for you, because did you wrestle growing up or anything too?
Yeah, I wrestled in Niagara Falls, New York, and I was a junior college national champion. I wrestled in Triple C, and then from there I went to Michigan State. Wrestled at Michigan State for a while, and then that's where I found MMA after I got done from wrestling at Michigan State. But at the time, it wasn't called MMA.
Okay.
It was called No Holds Bar, NHB.
Oh yeah.
And so it wasn't really legal in a lot of places outside of Vegas. So you'll fight on reservations, you'll fight in these smokers, and that's how I got my professional start.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but there weren't like weight classes, right? Weren't like 3 people 3 times your body size fighting you? Like, wasn't it ridiculous?
Well, yeah. So that was in the beginning. So when I got into it, it was a little bit more refined than that. So we did have some weight classes, but it was still kind of to the point where like I was fighting like 3 guys a night, fighting in tournaments. Yeah, and I fight like 3 guys a night. So and you'll fight for like little to no money. Like I would make maybe like $1,000 for fighting 3 guys in a night.
Oh wow! Holy smokes! Putting your body through that. So, okay, so you went to Michigan State, got into MMA. What happened from there?
From there, I got an opportunity to be on the Ultimate Fighter show, and then from on the Ultimate Fighter show, I won the Ultimate Fighter show. Fought at heavyweight. Fought this guy who was 6'8", and
goodness. And how tall are you?
How tall? Man, I am.
Not 6'8".
But like no, like maybe 6 foot on a good day.
Right.
6 foot on a good day
with shoes on.
So so once I started once I beat that guy, he was a heavyweight. I was a heavyweight at the time, but I was really the smallest guy to get on the show. I was so small, in fact, like Dana White was debating about even putting me on the show. I'm like, Dana, I
Really?
go into the office, and he like looks at me and he's like, "You got to be kidding me!" And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Bro, you're like 5 foot nothing. You look like Cuba Gooding Jr." I had guys so big they had to duck down to get through these effing doors. You think that you can,
No
you know what I'm
way.
saying? Yeah, he was cutting me down, and I was
Were
like,
you just like, Dana, if you want to step in the ring and find out, man, we can do that.
at the time, I was just shocked because I'm like fresh out of college. And I'm thinking about like I'm doing an interview, so I'm doing an interview and I'm all buttoned up and I'm kind of trying to be sophisticated. And then he's starting to come at me, he's cussing at me, and I'm just like, what in the world
No,
is this? So
no kidding.
I convinced him to get on the show, and then I ended up winning the show. And then from there, I got a career in the UFC, got a contract in the UFC, and I went on a tear. I went on a tear. I went like 18 fights before I lost my first fight, and it was just an amazing experience because through that whole experience, you have the ups and the downs, and you have those trials and tribulations. But
Yeah.
no matter what the fight game has always presented to me, as far as like winning and losing,
Yeah.
it's always been about that journey along the way through each training camp, because through
Mm.
each of those experiences is where I've truly grown the most. Because in those training camps, you learn to have to juggle life, and then you learn to have to, you know, build your whole camp around what this guy is going to do, and all your training, all the mental focus, and all the mental training that you have to do in order to get into that cage. So before like get into the fight, it's kind of like a big test on test day, and you feel like, am I ready? I done the work. I dotted my I's and crossed my T's. Am I going to pass this test? And
Yeah.
and that test to me was one that spiritually brought me, closer to God, and it's one
Mm.
that really brought me closer to myself.
Yeah. Tell me about that, because I feel like, I mean, especially as a fighter, right? As an athlete, as a
Yeah.
competitor, you have a lot of trials. And so tell me, for you, what was the tough, was there a toughest one? What did you learn from the experiences of like your first loss after 17 consecutive wins? Or,
Yeah.
was it the losing the belt? Because I know you fought Jones, and I
Yeah.
know that was for the belt as well. And then retirement itself, how hard is that? So like,
Yeah.
you've been through the gambit. So talk me through some of those hurdles. And yeah.
It's the true definition of a fighter is, it's when everything is not going your way. What do you do when the odds are going against you?
Yeah.
From the fight itself, inside the cage, when you're in a fight, and then you're met with this challenge. Your guy is countering you, and then he's giving you the same pressure that you're giving him, and then there's a moment where you're saying, "All right, how is this gonna go? Is my will stronger than his? Right? And I got to push through it." And
Right.
the same thing happens in life. Like when
Mm.
you have those setbacks, when you have those moments where it's not going your way,
Yeah.
it's almost being able to mentally tell yourself that I'm strong enough that I'm going to survive. I'm going to push through
Yeah.
the hard times, because here's the thing about it: no matter how hard the times are, there will always be a time where it gets easier, right? Hard times
Yeah.
don't always last. Hard times
Yeah.
don't always last, but it's the pain of not knowing when it's going to end that
Yep.
leads to the mental deterioration, and the long depression, right? It's that
Yeah.
angst of not knowing when it's going to end. So with my fights, and with the losses that I've had, and even with retirement, and especially with retirement, I've learned to just kind of allow that process to be,
Hmm.
like, not try to push my way out of it, because
Yeah.
I have to go through that, because one of the hardest things for me as a fighter was to be able to let go of fighting when I lost like 5 fights in a row, right? And
Yeah. Right.
that to me was like that's like the kiss of death, because I consider myself to be one of the best that ever did it.
Right.
And that's how I always had in my mind. So when I lost 5 fights in a row, and I'm like, I can't go out like this, because this is just not me. I didn't
Yeah.
fighting was for me something that came so easily. So for me to struggle like that was something that was difficult. So being able to push past that and being able to find what else life has to offer me on the other side of retirement has been one of the biggest challenges. But it was something that I started to, once I dug my feet into it, I just started to just really enjoy, because the pain that I was feeling, it was really revealing a lot more about myself than I was willing to see.
Wow. Wow. That's
And then
so
when
good.
I was willing to look at it, then I was able to start being able to kind of just unpack things and just take my time with it and just kind of deal with the feelings that I was having.
Yeah. Wow. That's so good. Yeah. It's, I mean, that's pure wisdom right there, because it's so true that just as much as like the good seasons and the good moments, those come and go,
Yeah.
so do the bad. They come
Yeah.
and go. Then nothing lasts forever. And so you're
Nothing.
right. There's a buildup of mental and emotional fortitude that needs to take place to really, really carry on through that in a way that's not going to leave you defeated, devastated, and without an identity, and so
Yeah.
incredible. But you stepped away, you retired, and you're done. You've stepped away from it and kind of gone into business ownership now,
Yeah.
right? And of course, I mean, you'll never be complete. I get it. There's always a part of you that's and I get all that. But you have transitioned into business ownership, specifically naturals to go. And so I want to hear, I mean, I would love to sit and talk about fighting all day, but I would love to really hear about Naturals to Go too, and your experience with them, and why you went with this business opportunity over thousands of others of opportunities. So tell me about that transition into business ownership.
Okay. So when I was making my transition into my next phase of life, I started using functional mushrooms, and I got such good results of functional mushrooms. And I teamed up with a couple of my other friends who had great results with functional mushrooms, and we decided to form a company called Umbo. It's
Yeah.
myself, Del Jolly, and Jake Plummer, Jake the Snake Plummer,
Yeah. Quarterback.
the
Yeah.
quarterback. Yeah, one of the greatest human beings ever. They both are. But we have a mushroom company, and we have this really delicious bar. And when we were this like 2 years ago, I was really just pushing it out there, and just through connection, I ran into the owner of Naturals to Go, Heath, and
Yeah.
we had a phone conversation, and he asked me, I sent him my bars. He was like, "Man, this bar is pretty good." So I sent him a couple of my bars, and he liked it, and he said, "Why don't you come down and just check out what we do here at Naturals to Go? Because maybe some of the vendors would put your bars in their machines." And I'm like, "All right, cool, sounds fair enough." And even going into the business venture with Umbo is still such a entrepreneur mindset, being that we're building this from the ground up, and the biggest thing that we had to do was educate a lot of people on what mushrooms are, and not all mushrooms are psychedelic. So it's just that whole educational
Right, 'cause
process.
that's the
But
stigma, right?
yeah, it is. So you know, going through my entrepreneurship and working with that kind of thing with Umbo, I go to Naturals to Go, and I go to that opportunity where they're speaking, and they have the trainees they have the training for the trainees that they have coming in that just bought new vending machines. And I go there and I hear them talking about why they decided to invest in Naturals to Go, and all that. And I'm just like, wow, this is pretty interesting.
Hmm.
And every person I got up, they really spoke with so much passion about just getting life back for themselves, and getting time back for themselves, and being able to spend more time with their family, and being able to have just that financial independence, and all the great things that happens when you're an entrepreneur. And I'm sitting in the back, and I'm sitting there listening, and it's just resonating with me, all of it, because you know I'm doing pretty well, but at the same time I suffer from lack of time. Now that I'm retired, I'm
Yeah, don't we
more
all?
busy than I am. I'm more busy than I am now. Between
Right.
going to appearances and doing TV things, it's just a lot, right? So
Doing Facebook live streams, yeah, it's a lot.
yeah, I mean, exactly. So I started to listen to what they're saying, and then after they got done from speaking, I started to ask Keith about more, and I wanted to know more about what was Naturals to Go really about. So then he started to tell me about it, and I was like, man, I want to get an opportunity. But then I did my research, and I just started like looking at things just in just the general society. And every time I go to the store, there's these automated machines that everybody's using now, to the point where there's more automated machines and self checkout than it is actually people working. And
Mm-hmm.
and the public is getting more and more groomed to this retail where it's unattended.
It's the world we live
So
in. Yep.
it's the world we live in. So I'm thinking about, man, what is the retail world going to? And it's
Right.
going to unattended retail. And ever since COVID has been back, it's just not been the same in the workforce. And it's just a weird dynamic when it comes to the way things are, and this mess with AI technology, the way that it's happening, right? But it's all
Right.
pointing to one thing, though. It's all pointing to one thing. Unattended retail is not
Mm.
only here to stay, it's going to be where everything is going to.
Yep. 100%. Mm-hmm.
So when I was thinking I had to get involved, I'm like, you know what? I got to get involved. I got to get involved, and I want to
Yeah.
be a part of this.
This is the
And
future.
not only, yeah, not this is the future. Not only as an ambassador, but also as a vendor
Yeah. So
myself, because
are
I
your
want.
bars
Okay,
now a part of the Naturals, or can be a part of the Natural Go selection?
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
So the bars that your company makes, are those now officially a part of Natural to Go, or an option for people to put in their machines?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep,
Awesome.
absolutely. Yep,
Awesome.
they
I
are.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things with Natural Go with unattended retail, is that
Yeah.
when you think of it as just selling snacks, you miss the boat on it.
Yeah, so it's
Because when you
explain
when
that to me, because that is what I'm picturing.
yeah,
I see
well,
vending
well,
machines and I'm thinking, yeah, okay, so some snacks here and there for people.
there's snacks here and there for people, but there's also non-snackable items like goods. Like you go to the airport and you see those items in the vending
Oh,
machine. Though
okay.
all those, though that's all vending. And
Yeah,
that and then you have also you have the mini markets that people swipe their card in, and
yeah,
they take their food, the micro markets, and all these different ways that people are reimagining unattended retail. Because
yeah.
that's, if you look at it as just vending and snacks, then you're not going to fully get it.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, when I started my whole thing, I'm just like, okay, so here I am in one aspect, a success, but here I am starting all over. So now I got to do the groundwork. I don't want to just come in here and just kind of learn a bare minimum. I want to get in here. I want to know what it's like to be an owner operator. I want to know what it's like to establish these relationships. I want to know what it's like to grow this to, you know, to the magnitude of maybe 150 or 500 machines, or however big I choose to upscale it. But
Right.
that's the beauty of this business, is the fact that you can upscale it how much you want,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
and
So good.
you get the support of the Naturals to Go staff, and the whole Naturals to Go team. And that's one of the things that makes Naturals to Go so successful, is the fact that
Yeah.
the people who are teaching you how to use the machines at the training, these are owner operators. These are people going through it. These are people who saying, okay, listen, this is going to work.
Yeah.
This is not going to work. So it's almost like they're selling you a turnkey operation. All you have to do is just pretty
Yeah.
much follow the formula.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to start any business being an entrepreneur, and not have to and 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 occur those hits on the head, and those
Mm,
losses that you take in
right.
order to learn the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So tell me a little bit about the support from Naturals to Go then for you as an owner operator. So because if we're being transparent, like with our consultancy through FranOps, we actually have a couple different vending machine business
Yeah,
opportunities in our portfolio. So
yeah,
talk to me about, like, why Nat for you, the experience for you subjectively, what, like, it
yeah.
has, and maybe through the lens of, have there been any significant major pain points that you've experienced along the way, and what kind of support or aid has Natural to Go come along in those, or even from the beginning? Just tell me a little bit more about
Yeah.
support through
Yeah,
Naturals to Go.
absolutely. So you have your training that you do when you get your machines in. before you get out, you have the training, which pretty much tells you how to work the machines, what you can do for problem solving, and how to even set up your whole business, and almost every single thing of what it means to be an owner from top to bottom. But what usually happens is it may be a couple weeks between, because another thing what Naturals to Go does is they locate for you. They locate for you, and that's one of the hardest parts about being a vendor is being able to find a location, right? So they locate for you, so you don't
So
have to worry
you
about
don't
that.
even have to go find where the machines are gonna go.
No, they locate them for
Oh
you.
wow, yeah,
Yeah, they
that's
locate the
huge.
machines.
Holy smokes!
It's the biggest thing. So they locate the machines for you, and then once the location is all sorted out, and you go and you check it out. And here's the thing about it: the locators will take you, and they'll be like, okay, listen, I found a location for you. The location is at this freight place. I want you to come and meet me at the freight place, and I want to introduce you to the owner. You introduce you to the person you're going to be dealing with, and you guys start working on that relationship, and you guys start to talk. Okay, what are you looking for? How can I help you? And then you guys just starting to see where you can fill in each other's needs, and that's pretty much it. But then you have such a great handoff, and it's not an awkward thing. So you come in all right away with this good relationship with the person you're going to be dealing with at the account, and then from there, when I got my machine, so I kind of forgot a lot what was going to happen, like what I needed to do. So one of the owner operators flew out, came and helped me put up my first machine. So
And
that's the kind of support.
another owner operator or
Another
someone
owner
from
operator,
Naturals to Go.
no, another owner operator from Naturals Ago.
Whoa,
They flew
really?
out, and yeah, part of the
Wow.
team flew out and helped me do my first machine. So that's just an example of just kind of the things that they do to support. But there's been times where, my machine had a malfunction, and I got on the phone with tech support. They're there
Yeah.
right away to sort it out. If I need some parts or whatnot, they're there to sort it out. And they make it really easy being an owner operator, because it feels like you have a silent partner, but you
Yeah.
don't got to pay that franchising fee. and
Yeah,
and
that's
that
right,
and
because it's
that's
not a franchise.
that's not a franchise.
I want to be clear on that too, group. This is not technically a franchise. This is a business
No,
opportunity. So just like Rashad just said, there's no franchise fee here.
there's no franchise fee. And here's the reason why I really wanted to get into it, because I'm like, okay, so all of, like, I have the Humble thing going on, and I still do work with the UFC and ESPN, doing those kind of things, analyst work, and bet online and stuff like that. So I have all the things going with my fight and talking about fights. But when the whole fight world may get silent, providing there's some kind of pandemic, providing there's some kind of situation, all of that tends to slow down, all that tends to go. So I wanted to be able to have other ways, and just kind of, diversifying how I'm pulling in things financially. And the thing that I've enjoyed most about this whole journey with Naturals to Go is that I found a way to get my whole family involved in the business. you
Really?
know yeah, I got the whole family involved in the business. My
You got the
wife is,
kids stocking the
yeah,
machines?
well, the kids help me. They help me stock the snacks sometimes. And of course, they got to take their little snack tax out on me. But it's it's
That's
it's been
great.
it's been a fun business, man. It's been fun
Yeah.
because it's been allowing me to just really reimagine how I really want to do this.
Yeah.
There's this guy in the company called Robert Dean, and he really brought his ownership to the next level with, like, 500 machines and plus, and just a whole
Wow.
system of how he works it and things like that. But he's a real role model when it comes to how to scale up. But the thing with this is the fact that you can scale up how much you like, and what suits your life in general.
Yeah. So what's next for you then? What's the where are you currently at with owning your business, and what are the
Yeah.
next 3, 5 year business goals?
Well, I'm just incrementally growing. Like right now, I got 7 more machines going in right now, so it's going to bring me up to a total of 12 machines. So I'm just taking my time with it, and just kind of incrementally growing, because there are growing pains. But it's for me more or less learning, you know, the business, and learning, ways that I can be better as far as providing a service. And that was another thing that I truly enjoy most about getting back into this part of living, is because for the longest time as an athlete, I've had everybody doing everything for me and,
Yeah.
kissing my butt and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And now I'm in on the other way. I'm the one who's providing a service, right?
Yeah.
So I'm the one who's playing a different kind of role, and it's been fun because it's one that
Wow.
it humbles you in life,
Yeah.
and it's one
Fascinating.
that, yeah. So it's been really fun in that respect as well too.
Yeah, that's a really unique perspective. I love that. That's
Yeah.
incredible. What about if you could go back, is there anything in terms of Naturals to Go and owning a business, not in terms of like all the way back to fighting
Yeah.
and but if you could go
I was gonna
back,
say,
is there anything you would do differently? And if so, what would that be?
you know, uh, no, there isn't anything I'll do differently, and because everything that I went through along the way with Naturals to Go thus far, even some of the things that I had to deal with as far as like, I had a machine get mess up at one time, and even through all of that, it's just the cost of doing business, and it's just the lessons that you need along the way. There's no way to avoid it. There's no way to avoid the lessons that you need to learn in order to be an effective
Mhm.
business person.
Yeah,
If you're going to be an effective business person, you have to understand there's going to be lessons along the way. They're going to
yeah,
be
it's true.
uncomfortable. They're going to
Yeah,
be uncomfortable. There's going to be uncomfortable moments. There's going to be things that wish didn't happen this way, but you got to find your way to problem solve through it, and,
yeah,
and that's what makes it fun. You know what I'm saying? That's what
yeah,
makes it fun and challenging. Of course, it's
yeah,
great to not have any problems, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I can work through it. When you
yeah.
know that you
Right.
can work through anything, it's like, I got it. Okay, it's not a big deal. I'll handle it.
Yeah, it's so true. You only fail when you quit. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter whether you own 7 machines or 700 machines. Like there's going to be major successes and there's going to be major roadblocks along the way.
yeah,
It's a matter of, do you have what it takes, or like how far will you continue to move forward to
right.
succeed in this?
Yeah,
And that's gonna be the case with any franchise, with any business opportunity. But it sounds like what you have found with Naturals to Go is at least um, being a part of this system has made entrepreneurship and business ownership a whole lot easier than it probably would have been.
absolutely. Coming from the fight world and coming from where I was at in that aspect, I feel like I'm so grateful that I found a business
Yeah,
like Naturals to Go because of the fact it does provide that template that you just need to follow in order to have success. And that's
yeah,
so important when you not only have a template, but then you also have the backing from a team that's competent, that
yeah,
want to see you win. You know what I'm saying? The
yeah,
competition, it isn't like, oh, I'm gonna try to be the best owner operator. It's like you learn something, and then it's like, the 100th monkey. You learn something, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna pass it on to the next owner operator, and the next thing success breeds success, and
yeah,
that's one of the best thing and coolest things about being in this space is that aspect. And another thing that's cool about being in this business is the fact that being part of the Naturals to Go team, as far as being an ambassador, as far as being part of the Ventec in general, um, I've been very privy to be at the conventions and all the things that the vending community provides.
mhm,
And as a founder and owner of one company called Umbo that makes snacks, it's good to kind of see how that whole process ties together. So now, not only am I working it from the vending side, but also from the snack side, I can get more of a roadmap and more of a direction and more of a play with Umble as well too. So it's kind of
right.
working both of my entrepreneur things that I'm working on right now.
Yeah, there's a nice relationship or partnership there with those two things, which is
Yeah,
which is pretty handy. I like that analogy you were kind of using there about like, uh, being a part of a system like Naturals to Go. Like to find success here is similar to finding success in the ring too. It's like if you just show up in the ring and you just start making up moves on your own that you
yeah,
haven't worked out with or trained hours and hours on end with your team on, and you try to go a different game plan on the spot, there's going to be issues.
oh yeah,
you know?
absolutely,
And it's going to be the same
absolutely,
with a business ownership opportunity like the Naturals to Go. Like just
yeah,
follow the game plan. Like they've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of individuals and find success through different machines. And so trust the
yeah.
game plan. They know what they're doing. Incredible. So last thing for those that are, watching right now or watching at a later date, like that are in kind of what I would call the pre-franchise or pre-business ownership stage, where you once were, right?
Yeah.
What advice or encouragement, piece of advice would you kind of give to them as they're thinking through, is this something I want to do? Is this the next chapter of my life? I don't know. It's a big risk. There's a lot of money involved. What if it doesn't work out? Blah, blah, blah. What advice, encouragement would you give to them?
I would say truly, listen to your heart. You have to listen to your heart and listen to, when I say listen to your heart, is like when you think of whatever it is that venture you want to do, if you don't feel that flutter, if you don't feel that pulse of excitement, then you shouldn't do it, because you need that flitter. You need to have that little flutter. You need to have that flicker of excitement, of anticipation, because that's going to be that motivation to make it successful. It all starts with a feeling, and when you're able to tap into that feeling, when you're able to say, okay, I don't really feel that about this. So that means when it gets hard, you're not going to fight for it. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to fight for it. So you need to have that feeling for it. If you're doing it for just the money, you may make some money, but at the end of the day, when it gets really hard and when it tests you, you're not going to want to stick with it. So when it gives you that feeling on the inside, and it makes you feel like, it makes you feel alive inside, that feeling, then that's what you go with, and that's what you put your energy towards.
Yeah. So good. My goodness, my man. This was awesome. This is incredible. I could sit here and talk to you all day about this stuff, and man, hopefully sometime we're gifted that opportunity. But genuinely, I want to be respectful of your time, everyone else's time watching this as well. Thank you so much for sharing with us your story of business ownership, coming out of fighting, and just kind of the ups and downs of your journey along the way and what you've learned from it, and really just kind of telling us why Naturals Go is such an incredible opportunity too. That's something really that was really unique for us today. So thank you so much for that, man. I really appreciate that.
Oh, guys, thank you for the time. And Jared, anytime you have me on again, much appreciated. And thank everyone for listening.
That's so good, man. Sometimes I think if I'm correct, all the Naturals to Go machines are actually produced out of Des Moines, which is where I'm from. And so the Mecca vending machine, I don't know, whatever. But if you're ever coming this way to come explore where your machines are made, let me know. We'll get together sometime. Maybe we're not going to do anything like we're not going to do anything. But,
I mean, and listen. Pat Militage's gym was not too far from there. I used to train there. I went to Militage.
Hey. There we go. Let's make it happen, man. It'll be a blast. But seriously, guys, thank you so much. If you're hearing this, you're like, I want to learn more. I want to dive into this experience and see if Naturals Go might be a good fit for me. If I might be a good fit for this business opportunity. If this is going to fit well into my lifestyle and kind of fulfill my goals and dreams that I have set for my life and my future, then click on the link that I already threw in there up at the top, and it'll take you to a full page of just more information about Naturals to Go, about the opportunity itself, and in there you can click, let's talk, and we can get going on your journey into business ownership with Naturals to Go today. And so once again, Rashad, thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate you. Everyone else, I just want to I'll end with just a little bit of a snippet of just what some other owners are saying about the support and the Naturals to Go opportunity. We'll end with that. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Other than that, until then, see y'all later. Have a good one.
With Naturals to Go, it's fun, family, and rewarding.
We're all on the same page, heading in the same direction. And that direction is to help the new owners and operators start their business and be successful.
When I get up, I love to go to work in the morning. A lot of people dread what they do every day. I love what I do every day. So I get excited to roll into work and see who we can help the next day.
Their goal really is to make people better, to help them live their fullest life, to help them enjoy what's most important to them. Naturals to Go helps people fulfill their dreams and won't stop until they're done.
They're there for me, and I truly believe that it's because they genuinely care. They want to see me succeed, and that to me gives me a lot of confidence that I can succeed.
I have a special needs son, and he's finding his place by helping us. It helps you find your power.
The culture here is like one big family. Everyone's cheering each other on and celebrating each other's successes, but also if you're stumped or stuck, you have a family member you can reach out to ask for a solution or an idea to overcome.
It is very genuine. It is very heart-centered. It is very true. And because of that, it does feel like family.
Naturals to Go is family. Only a family will look out for you like Naturals to Go do.